there's so many people in the world. You know, if you get 0.001% of the people in the world who are like, you have $1 million business.
Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Be Do Become TV, and today's episode is exciting for me in many ways because I've kind of sort of pseudo known Nyamka for like forever, but this is the first time that we're actually like connecting in person. But I feel like I've known you since you were a kid,
Maybe like eight or younger.
Yeah, this is Nyamka Roberts-Smith, and she's a licensed esthetician, an award-winning licensed esthetician and skin influencer. She's a speaker in beauty and on women's issues, and she has this glowing career as like the internet's esthetician. She's very well known for her 60-second rule, which blew up on Twitter, and then which allowed her to be featured in Korean Allure, Please, If You Please, Glamour UK, Cosmopolitan, and several other publications. She's done so well in her career. Many of you may know her. And she is the eldest daughter of Jamaican parents. She is from New York, now lives in Los Angeles. And so today I'm going to be talking to her about mostly the background behind the experience of, and just a little bit of skincare for you girlies, because I know you care about that. I'm really proud of you. I started by saying that because I think one of the things that stands out to me and has always stood out to me about you is like you have this really light-hearted kind of spunk, right? And you've brought that into your career. And for me, somebody keeping that energy about them is brave. I always see it as like, in this world that we're in the social media world, I consider it to be brave. So I want to find out a little bit about like childhood you. Were you always like this? Did you kind of grow into it?
I have always been like this to a fault, maybe. I always say like I can only be myself. Like I through and through, I make the same faces that I did as a child. I do the same things. Like I am like 100,000% myself all the time, even when I can't even help it. But yes, I have always been very lively, excited, very fun-loving. I've always really loved people and kind of taking care of people in a way, but also I guess very, not necessarily introspective, but like maybe empathetic. Like I could always like see like the humanity in people, I think, which always made me like want to connect with them.
Tell us a little bit about how you got into the world of skincare.
My mom went to cosmetology school when I was like 5. She said she only went to school so she could like learn how to do my hair and Nazim's hair, my brother, and her hair. She said it was, worth it. She has 3 heads of hair to do, and she also started my daddy's locks. So, she had lots of heads of hair to manage. So she went to cosmetology school to learn. She got her cosmetology license, still has it, but never really practiced in the salon. But she kind of used her skills to like do my hair, my friend's hair, that kind of thing. So through watching her like be good at hair and having beauty supplies around, that's where I kind of got interested in it. And I actually started as a nail tech. I used to do nails for my friends in high school and college and middle school, like do my nails for like school. I would do my friends' nails for like prom and things, but it was just fun. I was just playing. How I started doing nails first. After college, I went to, I had a nail business in college. I had business cards. I had a business Facebook. I would do my friends' nails in the dorm room, and then they would go, like for free, I would just be having fun experimenting, and then they would go to class and people would say, oh my God, where did you get your nails done? And they'd say, oh, my sweet mate did it. Here's her card. After college, I studied anthropology and political science and didn't really feel drawn to anything I was doing. Like I thought that I wanted to be like an international diplomat or something, go into like diplomacy work or be like an anthropologist, also in anthropology, but like nothing stuck to me. So after college, I went to school for nails because I liked to do it, and that was the only real way you could make money in the real world, to be licensed. And then from there, because I worked at nails, I had worked doing nails, I had the opportunity to work in a bigger nail salon, a spa. It was a big spa, and I just worked in the nail room of that spa. And I just really loved like the atmosphere and like to take care of people. It was science oriented, but it was also really social, and I could be artsy, and like everything just like kind of came together.
But it sounds like anthropology did mix with like,
yeah, it does.
That's kind of what
it does, like especially like because beauty is so cultural, so it's like you really learn like why people do things certain ways, or you know, what people's preferences are because of their ethnicity. I remember, so I used to work at Piercing Pagoda. Actually, I used to pierce like, you know, those little kiosks in the mall doing their piercings. And I remember specifically that anyone who came in who was like of Desi, Indian, Pakistani descent, they always pierced their ear holes slightly higher than where everybody else pierced them. And I think it's because they wear like heavy earrings, so like kind of close. But every time they'd ask, they'd be like, oh, higher. So like even like little things like that, like I was just noticing little like cultural differences on how we like all do beauty.
And then, so from nails, you jump into skincare. You decided to move to LA because you saw LA as like the beauty capital.
Right. So when I was in aesthetic school, I kind of realized that you could go like a lot of fun places with aesthetics. I was considering like working on a cruise ship. I was like, because you can work on a cruise ship for like 6 or 8 months on and then off, and I was like, that could be really cool. I was like, I could go to Florida, I could work in Miami, I could work in Hawaii, like all the places that like the industry was the biggest for like really fun, cool kind of vacation-y places to go. So that's kind of where it like the idea sparked for me. But then when I was in aesthetic school, I went to Coachella out here and I loved it. I was like, I could miss my flight. California is where I need to be. And then when I started like researching it some more, I really realized that like Los Angeles is like it's like a beauty hub. Like it really is like a beauty mecca. I felt like LA would give me like all the skills that I needed to be a really good esthetician.
So you moved here, which is not easy. Like moving to LA is a big bright dream, but like the actual move itself is not easy. And you started your Golden RX thing. So you started what would be a spa, right? So I want to get into like that part of it. The reality of what it takes to move to LA to pursue your dream. And what was that experience like for you?
It's so many steps, and if I look at it like as a whole right now, I'm like, I can't believe I did that. But so I can't believe I did that. But I used the inspiration from like my parents, you know, like they're from Jamaica, and I'm like, if they could leave Jamaica to go to cold New York, okay, I could at least move across the country. At least I'm still in the same country. It's the same language. There may be a little bit of a culture shock, but like they've done it way harder than I have. So like, and if anything happens, I can always just go back home. I did a lot of research. I checked out like cost of living calculators because I felt like living in LA will be really expensive. But I actually found out it wasn't that much more expensive than living the cost of living it back home. So I was like, okay, like, you know, when I started doing research, it felt more like manageable. And then I, you know, had to look up how to change my licenses over because I was licensed in New York, but not licensed here in California. When I first moved, I didn't have an apartment or a job, but I had both within like 10 days because I started my thank you. I started
that comes from research, right?
I was European Wax Center hired out of school, so I figured if they hired out of school, then they'd probably hire someone who just moved across, you know, like didn't have any clients. So I applied there and they hired me. And then from when I got hired, then that's when I figured out where to live because then I was like, okay, I'm gonna be working here. It's good because LA is so big, so I'll live close. But I found somewhere to live. I had been saving for like a year and a half before I moved. So all my tip money from working at the nail salon wasn't going anywhere, wasn't doing anything fun. I was like 24, 25, and I was like, okay, like this is my last like hurrah with all my friends, being in the same city with everyone, because I love going out, I love partying, I love like being around people, but I was like, okay, this is like my 25-year-old gift to myself. Like,
that's pretty admirable because, you know, you had a lot of foresight, a lot of strategy, and I think that, I don't know if it's from your upbringing or what, but that isn't normal. people have the idea to move. Yes, they may have like a pseudo little plan. They might say, okay, well, I have $1,000. I feel like this could get me far, but I think doing it your way creates such a bigger safety net. Not that it becomes easy, because the transition itself is never easy, but I think, having that safety net. I mean, how do you know when to transition from being in a full-time job to now going out on your own and becoming an influencer? Did you set out to become an influencer? Did you fall into it?
Yeah, so being an influencer wasn't really like a real job when I started my YouTube 2016. Yeah. What was very popular on YouTube at the time was, I feel like Instagram influencers weren't even really a thing unless they were like models. Yeah. Beauty bloggers, so like lots of makeup. No one cared about skincare. And hair. People were doing like all these random like avocado and banana masks and mayonnaise and all these weird things. I wanted to be like a professional voice in the space to actually bring some like actual like scientific backed information and kind of like tweak what people were doing to make the information a lot more accessible. So I didn't try to be an influencer specifically. I really just tried to help people, and I felt like because I'm new to the city, I don't have any clients, I figured I could at least share on social, and there's so many more people in the world there. I don't know anyone in LA, but I think maybe 500 people will watch my video. So like, and if 500 people watch my video, LA is the second biggest, city in the country. So maybe 5 people will be in LA, and maybe one of them will want to be my client. So like, that's how I was kind of, I was just figuring like my odds were good if I was gonna be on social. Like that would probably be the best way to like meet people and connect with people, and it worked way better than I thought it would. But yeah, that's kind of like how I like got into. I started my YouTube like right when I moved.
How was like the beginning of that for you? Like, what were your thoughts?
I was just like, I'll try it. I didn't watch a lot of YouTube, which is actually kind of good because I wasn't like, my ideas weren't clouded with other people, what other people do and how other people talk. I could really just be myself, and I had to teach myself how to edit. I'm actually a really good video editor now, but I had to teach myself how to video edit. I have no idea what I was doing when I first started, but I figured I would just try, and it was fun. Actually, I found that like that's actually another skill of mine, that like it's very artistic. I used to love watching music videos growing up and movies, so it kind of felt like that. I was just pretending to be on my own little TV show kind of thing. So yeah, that was fun. And then every project that I would work on, every video felt like almost like a research project. I'm digging deep and I'm finding all the sources and reading like scientific journals. And like, I could have never done this for something that I didn't care this much about.
And I think also it goes back to what your original mission was, which is that you wanted to bring a voice of like education and science to like this field of that was absent. Absent. So when people think about skin, they think about no pimples and no blemishes on your face, like a clean face and that kind of thing. But the skin is like the largest organ of your entire body. And so I was just curious as to how you, in your mind or in your life, how do you correlate skincare to like full body healthcare? So one of the main, biggest, most important functions of the skin is to protect you. So your skin comes in contact with everything. It comes in contact with your clothes, your beauty products, your hair products, pollution, the environment. So your skin really like ebbs and flows in the same way that like the weather does, in the same way that your mood does. Like your skin isn't like a stagnant thing. It can be very finicky. It's very reactive to what's going on around it because it's meant to protect you. It's like your first line of defense. So when I think about skin, I think like, what can we do to strengthen its ability to protect you? But also like, what are you doing to your skin that may weaken its ability to protect you? So like maybe like the clothes that you wear are irritating, or you are in really high stress environments and it may cause like a rash or irritation or eczema or whatever it is. You're eating foods that you're allergic to that may show up on your skin also. So yeah, the skin is extremely dynamic because of all its
you know, it literally, it's in your body and outside of your body.
Yeah.
So it's like, there's a lot that goes into it.
Social media is very concerned with the topical things, like the external thing. But like if you have pimples and whatnot, it may be related to your gut health. So like, does that tie in for you?
I always like recommend that my clients get like allergy tests, because sometimes there are a lot of triggers: peanut butter, eggs, shellfish, wheat, gluten, dairy, that they don't know that their skin is reacting to. I also always make sure they're aware that stress could really cause skin irritations. People tend to get like psoriasis and dermatitis, and what's the other one? Eczema flare-ups when they're like really, really stressed out. Sometimes it is like about like if you're exercising, right? And like you're not washing off the sweat on your back, or if you wash your hair in the shower and then forget to wash your face. So like there's tons of like environmental aspects that affect your skin, like so many. So it's definitely a very like holistic, well-rounded type of like education that I try and bring. Granted, I'm not, I'm not a nutritionalist. Like, no, I'm not necessarily an expert on these things, but I know that they can affect you. So here are some experts that you can go to get like the real in-depth information. But like, it's a valid thing to know and like be concerned about.
Your approach to skincare, does it relate or affect or influence your approach to life in any way?
Yes, definitely. Because like the skin ebbs and flows, life ebbs and flows, it's made me very patient. A lot of skincare products do not work right away, and that's like life. You have to plant a seed and it may not grow right away. You really have to think like long term, like, okay, let's give this 3 months, let's give this 6 months, let's make a plan, let's, create a journey. Like it's very metaphorical in that way. And also I really like to focus on like the tangible benefits of like touch, to have like, as an esthetician, to have people in my, treatment room and to touch them and to actually like give them a moment to like rest and like experience care from somebody else. And then, even when I talk about the 60-second rule, I'm like, yes, there are like, it will help clear your skin and all these things, but like, at least give yourself a minute to like make sure your skin, like give yourself some time, like take a deep breath, like massage the areas that are tense on your face, like give yourself something, just if it's 60 seconds, if it's, an hour that you're in the treatment room, like give yourself some time to be like taken care of. So I definitely try and take that with me in like other parts of life.
That's like patience, time, delayed gratification, strategy.
Self-care,
self-care,
I guess. But it's self-care in like a necessary way, like a very consistent, like not like you're using self-care to kind of like band-aid, you're using self-care to like fill your cup. Like you need to take care of yourself in order to go on in life.
To your 60-second rule. And I was like curious, like is this something that just occurred to you in your mind, like it's like a dream or just pop into your mind or whatever? Is it something that came from an actual practice? Like how did it come to you?
The first time I remember, I was in aesthetic school still, and one of the other estheticians was saying how she was reading something and they were talking about washing your face, and she was like, like they kind of made a point that like people don't really think about how long they wash their face for, and I was like, that's true. And then that kind of stuck in my head. And then while we're in aesthetic school, you're taught how to do facials. And you're supposed to do at least like 2-3 cleanses on people sometimes. So I'm like, if we're doing 2-3 cleanses in like a spa space, and then people go home and cleanse for like 15 seconds, that's a big gap, right? So at first it was actually a 2-minute rule. I was like, maybe people should wash their face for 2 minutes. And then this is when I was first started like really learning about skincare and learning about ingredients. So this is when I was first like venturing out and trying like higher priced products, going in Sephora and actually being able to like read the labels and understand how they would benefit me. So I was like trying different products, and I was like, okay, let me start with 2 minutes. 2 minutes was overdoing it. It was drying out my skin, and I have dry skin, but even when I was using hydrating cleanser, so 2 minutes is too long, and how do you even market 2 minutes anyway? So I actually, one of the first articles I ever wrote was for like a little blurb for Reader's Digest, and in it I say wash your face for 2 minutes. That's like 2017. And I was like, okay, let me try a minute. I like played with 30 seconds, and I was like, 30 seconds is still too short. You can't get all the areas of your face, but 60 seconds was perfect. And a lot of songs are 60 seconds. So when I first started, I would tell people to sing the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air theme song, but then I was like, I can't really market that because this is like before like TikTok, or you could like license music. I'm like, they're gonna take down every video I post about this. So I told people like sing Happy Birthday is about a minute, Twinkle Twinkle Little Star is about a minute, the alphabet's about a minute, all theme songs for TV shows are about a minute. So I was like, okay, that's actually kind of perfect, and it matches, and like that could help people like remember for how long to wash their face for. So then I started talking about it on Twitter. I was talking about it on Twitter, and people were coming back to me saying like, oh my God, like this changed everything. And I knew that it would be helpful, but I didn't know it would be that helpful. So then I guess someone had put it on Reddit, like on like this Reddit addict or skincare addict Reddit thread, and then it blew up from there. And then that's when Cosmopolitan reached out to me about doing it, about doing a story on it, and then a whole bunch of other brands started doing stories on it, or magazines started doing stories on it. And nearly some people, you know, like it takes a little bit to tweak. Some people have dry skin, some people have different types of skin, not using the right cleanser and things. But it really, I loved it because it was so like accessible.
When it like started to take off, what was your experience like? What was happening inside of you? So
I knew that Cosmopolitan was doing let's say it was coming out on Friday, right? So after I did it, I'm like, nothing is real until it's actually done, right? After I did the interview, I was like, okay, they're gonna post this, but then no one's gonna be able to find me after this. So I started I did a YouTube video on the 60-second rule to come out like, it came out like the next day or like a couple days after. Like I got it perfect, but I was up till like 4 o'clock in the morning recording, editing, all of this stuff, because I'm like, I need it to come out like at the same time. Otherwise people, like it won't get enough traction. People will not know about me. And like, this is like what I've been, you know, working for. So it came out perfect. Like the timing was really, really good. I didn't sleep for like 3 days, but then I slept after. Glamour UK picked it up second. Yahoo News picked it up, and then that's when Allure Korea picked it up, and then did like a full spread like in print, which was super, super cool. It's all in Korean, so I can't understand.
Korean has a really big media.
Huge. So it was like a crazy like sign of. Oh, and then it was on the doctors too. The doctors did like a special on it. They didn't invite me, which would have been cool, but it's fine.
But I mean, it's great to say, it's an Emmy award winning show, and they referenced and
pronounced my name right. So that was good.
But is there a science? Would you say there's a science to being an influencer?
Not really. I think there's a lot of ways to be an influencer. I think I took the professional approach because, you know, it's skincare and it's very important, you know, like I wanted to make sure I was giving good information. It's one thing to, I mean, it's not like it's not a big deal to give bad hair or makeup information, but like when you're messing with like acids and things like you're actually putting on your skin, you really have to know what you're talking about. And I knew that as a Black woman, I needed credentials in order to succeed in this. Like I can't just say whatever. Someone was gonna come fact check me quick, and people will still do and be wrong, but like at least I know what I'm talking about. So in that's the way that I went about it. But I think there's a lot of ways to be an influencer. I think the biggest thing is that you're willing to share. You're just sharing either like what you know or what you love or what you do, and being like honest and trustworthy. So like your audience, you know, will trust your recommendations, and you know, some influencers are more like personalities, some are more like tastemakers. So I think everybody has different strengths, and I love the industry because it allows for so many different types of people to be in it. So no, I don't really think that there's like a science being an influencer. Like I took it very like systematically and like I planned things and tried to make it work because I was trying to like build a career outside of social media, but I don't think that there's really one way to build a social media specific career.
Influencer as a career, entrepreneur as a career. Tell me, do you prefer one? Is one harder?
They're both actually pretty hard for me. I think influencer is easier. No, that's not true. No, because at a certain point as an influencer, you have to have a lot of skills. You know, like you have to be able to edit videos. You have to, you're doing like whole marketing plans for businesses. Sometimes they're like, here, we want to market this product, and they give you no guidelines. And they're just like, talk to your audience about this thing. So like you're literally making commercials, you're editing, shooting, writing commercials, writing copy, like it's lighting, like it's so many jobs in one. So that is difficult, and like all the deadlines, that's the hardest part for me. I think the deadlines are the hardest part for me. Like doing this, I have to do this, I have to do this, I have to just follow all the rules, make sure everything's tagged. Like that gives me a little bit of anxiety. I'm like, okay. Entrepreneur also takes a lot of skills, but I think the skills are different. Like it takes a lot of like heart and guts. Like you have to be willing to get rejected a lot. You have to be willing to try things that you have no idea will work, and there's money on the line and your livelihood is on the line. You have to be able to take losses really well, because nothing works out 100% of the time. So that's a way more humbling experience, I think. But the wins are so high, like, because you grinded for it, right? So it's like, yes, I did this. Like, you're on top of the world, and then something crashes, and it's like, no, it's all my fault. I'm an awful person. I can't do this. I'm stupid. What am I doing? I'm just gonna have to move back home. Like, so it's both are very hard and take a whole bunch of skills. So no, I can't say what is easier.
You now have a product, so you've evolved your business into, you know, from the internet into an actual tangible like product. What has that experience been like?
Honestly, I can't say that I love it. I'm very like people oriented, so that's really what I like to do. So I'm actually currently working on like morphing that side of my business, like the shower chic, bath apparel, to be more like community oriented, because like just like being behind a computer and like selling products doesn't like move me like that. But I like growing communities. I like talking to people. I like learning new things from people. I like being a benefit to people's lives. And so that's actually what I'm working on now, but definitely sticking with it, because it is a lot of fun. And I think with a brand, you get to like create a universe kind of, like you get to have your own like colors and rules, and like you like get to like imagine all these things in your head and like make them real. So definitely keeping with it. But
and that happens. You never stop evolving. You never stop growing. And a new stage of your life is going to present a new kind of business, a new stage in your business.
Yeah, for sure.
Your family, your mom, your parents are from Jamaica. Your whole mom's side, from Jamaica. How has your culture influenced your business, influenced your life?
That's a really good question. I feel like Jamaicans are so good. Well, I'm sure some will disagree. At like customer service and like caring for people. Like I feel like everyone who goes to Jamaica comes back and just feels like they're Jamaican, right? Like they're like, oh, I'm Jamaican by association now, you know, because Jamaicans just have such a warm, like welcoming, loving, and I feel like my family is very much that way too. Like my auntie will adopt everyone, and mom is very like, oh, come here, let me do this, and ready to cook and clean and do all the things. So I feel like I really adapt that part into my business, where like when people come into like my studio space or my spa, or even when, you know, I'm like communicating people, like this is almost like my home, and I'm welcoming you into my home, and like I'm grateful that you're here, and I want to make sure that like you're good and that you're happy and that you're comfortable. So I definitely take that after you know, my family and my heritage. Jamaica is such, I feel like a lot of people don't know this, but Jamaica is such like a cultural melting pot that like it really helped me. I feel like being Caribbean helps me connect to people a lot like deeper. You know, because being Jamaican, there's people who are, of Indian descent.
Yeah.
So I'll see things that are Indian culture and I'll feel connected to it.
Yeah.
Or I'll see things that are like Chinese culture and I'll feel connected to it. Or African culture and I'll feel connected to it. Even like British culture and I'll feel connected to it. So, or even like people who are like Puerto Rican and Dominican, like they speak a different language, but we all like eat the same food and like have the same kind of
same approach.
Like sometimes I feel like I understand Spanish even though I don't really understand Spanish. Like I know what you're saying because I can feel it because all the islands are right there. Like we're all like one people kind of. So definitely feel very, very, even Irish, I feel very connected to like all these different groups of people from all over the world.
But that's our entire history that you just literally named it. Everybody has passed through, every heritage, every ethnicity has passed through the shores of the Caribbean. So there's remnants of it just left there. But Jamaica's like out of many one people in terms of like skincare, right? Skincare is a very especially in LA, like you rightfully said, it's very viral. It's very it's on the tips of everybody's tongues, and it's growing across the Caribbean and across the world in general. But we aren't as crazy about it as like maybe U.S. culture. But so for Caribbean people, if they don't have access to all the things, right? What kind of like simple skincare thing that they can do, take advantage of? Maybe by environment.
I would definitely say 60-second rule first because it's really foundational. You want to make sure that you're removing like pollutants, SPF, just sweat, dirt, debris off of the skin. That's really, really helpful to like go to sleep with like a clean, fresh face. Especially the pollution in like the bigger cities can be pretty bad too. So that's really important. Wearing sun protection. It's not necessarily that people of color, people of African descent, people with brown skin will get skin cancer per se, but it definitely helps protect your skin. UV rays cause sun damage, whether you can see it or not. So that really does help like with pore size and premature aging. Even if skin cancer isn't your biggest concern, or even wrinkles aren't your biggest concern, the skin generally gets healthier when you protect it from UV rays because they cause so much damage.
So we have a lot of sun.
So much sun. Those two things I think are definitely the most important. And then just being like gentle with your skin. I think sometimes we can be like over stripping or over scrubbing if you have a pimple, if you have hyperpigmentation, something like that. So definitely like taking care with your skin and not feeling like you need to scrub it off or rub it off. Try going like a more gentle approach first, and that often clears up a lot of issues, and then you can get into like the real nitty gritty of whatever is going on.
If you were to tell me your top 3 values for your
top 3 values. Honesty is my first one, especially with like skincare. It's such a huge industry that a lot of people are in it like just to make money. There's tons of products, there's tons of everything. You can make up all types of foolishness and say like, oh, this does this, so I think being honest about what I know, what I believe, what I think a product can do and can't do. I think that's really, really important. I think levity. I think like taking like important topics, whether it be skincare, other things, and like making it in a way that is like lighter and approachable. Not everything has to be like so serious and heavy, and when I'm talking about skincare, it's like textbook stuff or whatever it is. I think you can make it lighter, and making it lighter makes it more approachable. I think authenticity, but more so like trusting yourself, like trusting that like what you have to say is like valuable, trusting that what other people have to say, that they're saying it with like the best of their knowledge, or that they're coming from like a true place. When you are yourself, you attract your type of people, which I think I think sometimes people think being too much of themselves is negative, but there's so many people in the world. If you get 0.001% of the people in the world who are like you have $1 million business, So like, I think, and that's how you stand out, like the things that make you different, the things that are weird about you, things
Yeah.
that you think about that nobody else thinks about.
Yeah.
Those are like the really important things.
I'm sure that you have your own like challenges and stuff like
Mhm.
that with, I mean, everybody goes through insecurities, but I'd add number 4 value for you is courage and
Okay,
bravery,
thank you.
because all of what you described, people are challenged with being
Mhm.
different, are challenged with showing up to a space where things are trending, or there's a, you know, you use a particular song and that goes viral, or
Mhm.
you use a particular format and that goes viral. So there's a lot of sameness out there. To use that to bolster you
Yeah.
is brave. Now you're evolving into like a new stage of life,
Mhm.
into a new stage of womanhood. What do you want for yourself and your business moving into this like next phase of your life?
Yeah, I want to, what I'm really kind of focusing on now is building community more intentionally. I think I do it naturally, but I'm definitely, now that I've learned what to do and like what not to do, I can be more like strategic about it. So that's one thing. And then the second is to like, I'm at a space where I can like use my life lessons to help other people. And I think that that's like this natural second step. Like once you get to where you are or where you wanted to be, and now you have new, bigger goals, to help people who are trying to get to, you know, just the first step that you got to. So that is my goal as well. So like mentorship and educating and teaching, you know, other estheticians and other women of color, business owners, that kind of thing. And that's the other element of like trusting that like the things that I have learned and the things that I've gone through have value. It's like that. I've learned so much from other people's mistakes. I learned a lot from other people and just watching them and listening to them be vulnerable about like their lives. And I really, really appreciate everyone who ever is brave enough to really talk about the things that were harmful or hurtful or stupid or foolish or all of those things. So I am trying to also gather that bravery in order to, you know, help other people. So.
Is there anything that you want for women? Like, is there anything you want women to do more of, or would like to see more?
I would like to see women, especially women of color, not have imposter syndrome. I don't think that it is a real thing that we need to carry or harbor, to feel like we don't belong. Like the only reason we're not in big rooms or not very wealthy is because people have systematically kept us out. It's not because you can't do it. And to even get to where you are, you likely had to be overqualified. So like, understand that almost every space you go into, you are overqualified. Like I hate hearing people like, or like, you know, you read a lot of statistics that it's like women only apply for jobs that they feel like they have 100% of the qualities for, where men apply when they only have 60%, right? And it's like, people are leading things that they shouldn't be leading. So at the very least, you can also lead something that maybe you shouldn't be leading. So what? So what if you don't know what you're doing? He doesn't know what he's doing either. Or at the very least.
But this is so true.
But at the most, you're overqualified for that position. So even the bad isn't even really that bad. That's what they're doing already. So like, you could at least be there, right? And I think that's what I would love. Like, just because that they're different, or because, you know, you're the first woman who's ever done this, that's not because women haven't been capable before you. It's just because they've tried to keep you out. So that's literally the only reason. You're smart, you're capable, you can do all the things. Do not think that you can't. Very strongly, because there are like brilliant people who are like, I don't know. I was like, girl, what are you talking about? Go do it. Who cares?
That's very boring. All right, that was a sermon, guys. That's the end of the TED Talk. You can go home now. As we wrap up, if you were to invite us to your house for dinner, what would we eat?
Oxtail. For sure. Yes, oxtail for sure. Because my mommy makes the best oxtail, but I learned from her and then tweaked it. I worked very hard on this. So oxtail, rice and peas, macaroni and cheese, because I love macaroni and cheese. If I have the energy, I might make a cheesecake. I love cheesecake.
We're getting a full course meal here.
I love to cook. I love cooking. If you stay over next morning, I get saltfish.
Okay, we
With
are
festival.
coming with festival. So, quick powwow. Biggest challenge in your entrepreneurial life?
Biggest challenge, trusting my ideas.
What's the thing you learned the most about yourself in the last 3 years?
I am more sensitive than I thought that I was, but like it's a strength.
Okay.
Like I thought that I was like really tough, but I'm not really tough. And that used to make me like kind of sad. I used to feel soft. I used to try and be tougher, but then I've now realized that I don't need to be tougher.
Yeah.
Like it's good to be soft.
It's good to be
Yeah.
soft. Soft yet firm. That's my thing. Skincare tip. Dangerous DIY. Do not absolutely do this. What?
Use baking soda, vinegar, or lemon juice on your face. Baking soda and vinegar just really disrupt the moisture balance on your skin. Your skin has like a really specific pH to help keep bacteria out and other things out. And when you disrupt the pH, that's when like pollutants and pathogens and all these things get into your skin and you get rashes and irritation and all these stuff. So you don't want to do that. And then lemon juice can cause like really bad like photodermatitis or like sunburns and things like that because the citric acid like burns away your skin. So those 3 things are
drugstore brand that you would like absolutely love.
Let's see. Roche Posay.
Luxe brand that you would like spend all your money on. That's really good.
Allies of Skin.
Okay.
So expensive. Everything I've ever purchased was worth it, and I've I get a lot of skincare for free. I've purchased this. Like I will have a drawer full of products and still spend $100 on this serum that I love.
Top 3 skincare products. If you could only have 3, what would you have?
Deviant Skin Oil Cleanser. It's like a cleansing balm, the blue tansy one. It is like the most luscious, gentle oil cleanser ever, and I love it for like removing makeup. But I usually just use it like on my bare skin and like get like a deep cleanse. Love it. 2, I'd say Laneige Cream Skin. It's like a milky toner moisturizer. And I think it's amazing in the wintertime because it's so like it's like thick, it's creamy, it's heavy, so like it really like traps in moisture. But in the summertime, you can kind of just use it by itself. So that's very versatile. And Allies of Skin daily treatment moisturizer. It has like peptides, it helps like brighten. It's a really like multitasking product, which is like it's
Holy Grail. What's your Holy Grail? I know you have like your wash tone. Is that your Holy Grail, or do you have a?
Yes, I would say cleanser, toner. I love a toner. Always drenching my skin. Some days I'm lazy, so it's just cleanser, toner, moisturizer. Other days when I'm like going all in with like multiple serums, I definitely tone multiple times, and before I put like different serums on. But toner, like really hydrating the skin, is like I will always, forever, always have a toner with me. If I don't have a toner and I just have a serum, my skin is sad. I need it. And even I kind of like can like go against like traditional skincare rules with toners, and like I put a lot of hydrating toners on my oily skin clients too, and it always works out. I'm always just like, I'm gonna do this. Don't worry about it. You will be good. I promise. You need a hydrating toner, and it always works out. All their skin clears up so well, and it's like nice and hydrated. I just love like hydrated, dewy, plump,
me too. It's
glowing from within, healthy skin. Like that's my favorite thing. So yeah.
Your favorite book to read, or a book that you're reading right now that you would recommend to women?
Rest is Resistance.
Okay.
By Trisha. Her Instagram is the Nap Ministry, and she really talks about like resting and like rest is resistance, and like it is your God-given right to rest. You don't need to earn it. You can take the day off. You can not work at all. You can lay around, eat fruit. Like you don't have to prove your existence, and that is like such a capitalistic idea that you have to be productive all the time. You have to do all these things. Like you don't. You're allowed to rest. I think I love that because I don't think that we do that enough. And we think of that as like, once I finish all this, I'll do that. And I think it's so foundational to like take care of yourself in that way.
What do you want people to know about you? Like, what's the message that you want to leave like on this birth?
I definitely want like tangibly people in the world to be better and improved because I existed or because I spoke or because I did my thing.
Yeah.
I have a friend, Aladame, who she's the owner founder of Topicals.
Mm-hmm.
She said something that like resonated so strongly with me. It's actually something I also learned from Auntie Marcia, because Auntie used to say that like we're all puzzle pieces and like you need each other. No one's going to be good at everything, and you need each other. We all just fit into little puzzle pieces to the big picture. But what Aladame said is that your success, someone else's destiny is tied to your destiny. So that like was like
someone is waiting for you.
Right.
Their
so
life
like,
is waiting for you to get up and do what you're supposed to do.
And like you think of all the people who did it before you, and it's like, okay, like let me get my shit together. Like, all right, so
did that make you emotional? Oh my goodness, but that's
so
beautiful.
annoying.
It's so deep. That came from really deep within her.
That's a good one.
Yeah. Love that. Well, I wish you the absolute best. Like so much blessings on your journey to come, because I think you've already done so well, and I am personally proud of you from like a kid till now, and you're still so vibrant, and like the world hasn't gotten to you, and I hope that you keep that and you share that and you sprinkle it on everybody that you come across, and that you just leave them with a little bit of like spunk, and a little bit of hope to do what they have to do. So thank you for being here.
For having me. So fun.
Thank you so much for being here and for watching. I hope you got some kind of value. I hope you got all kinds of value, from skincare to just entrepreneurial to hope to inspiration, whatever it is, and that you get off your couch and you go and you make that thing happen. Because you're supposed to be, because you're a puzzle piece and somebody's waiting for you to get up and do it. I'll see you next time. Bye.